Welcome back to the All Ball Podcast, where it's all ball all the time. You are here with your hosts, Sean and Isaiah. This is episode number 9. Isaiah, how you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good and I'm ready to get into our favorite funny moments to follow up our topic from last week, which is best moments.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get into these two. I can't wait to hear yours. I want to have a good laugh right now. So, I guess you want to go ahead and start with yours.
Okay, I will start with, and these are in no particular order, they're just kind of the order that I thought of them.
Right.
And the first one that I remembered just as soon as I thought of this topic was the fast break where Steph tried to go for the dunk, slips and falls. Then he recovers to the 3-point line and airballs the three right after.
I remember that. Oh man, I feel like he should have just passed the ball after he just slipped.
You see, no, that's the thing. The thing is, he slipped, and then it was Iguodala who got the rebound after he slipped. And so then he was out there on the 3-point line just open. So Iguodala did the smart thing. I mean, in any other circumstance, passing it to Steph is the obvious choice.
Right.
So he did that thinking, okay, yeah, this is an open Steph corner three. That's going in. And then he just airballed.
I I wonder how wet that the court actually was, because this, like, for someone to actually slip like that dramatically, you know.
Oh yeah, because it was a bad fall too. Like he's like just fell instantly. Like at the cartoon fall where the legs fly straight forward. Oh yeah, it was bad.
Someone put a banana peel there.
You see, but the thing is, I mean, that also happens if the court is like a little dusty or something.
Yeah.
So it could have been sweat and or dust.
Hmm.
But either way it goes, I'm kind of glad it happened, since he didn't get hurt. So it's just a good,
Right, right.
funny moment to have.
Yeah. All right, so for one of mine, I know we just talked about this not too long ago, but the Larry Nance Patrick Star edit.
Oh,
It's no context at all. No reason to even put that edit in. Doesn't make any sense, but it's great. I love it.
oh yes, the classic edit. Larry Nance with, first of all, the dunk wasn't even that crazy. So I don't understand why they made an edit out of this in the first place. But then they edit it and they have him transform into Patrick.
And then the zoom in on the face too
Like
makes it
yeah,
10 times
like
better.
the turn around stare down with the
Like, of all things you want to like edit him into, you couldn't have thought of something like that seems like superpower, force of the strong, or like a superhero or something. Nah, you want to do
no,
Patrick Star.
turn him into a pink starfish that wears these green trunks all the time.
Yeah, and he's like known for not doing much other
Yeah,
than just
like he
being funny.
chills under his rock and is the funniest character on the show. That is all he's known for. But yeah, let's make a basketball edit with Larry Nance.
I still want to know who gave the okay to approve
Yeah,
that.
no, I want to know the person who made it and the person who said, "Yeah, this is good. You can post this." Both of them, I need to know who they are.
That person either needs a raise or to be fired, because it's gold, but it's so like dumb at the same time.
Exactly.
All right,
Oh
go ahead and
man,
give
but yeah.
yours.
Moving into my next one. It is a play. I can't remember exactly like why he did this or what was happening, but I specifically remember Tristan Thompson was bringing the ball up the court on the Cavs. This is after LeBron was gone. He's bringing the ball up court. The defense is kind of trying to press him a little bit because he's Tristan Thompson bringing the ball up court.
Yeah.
So he does a couple of dribble moves, then does a spin move and just shoots it from half court. And it just clanks off the backboard.
bro. Is Point Tristan Thompson out there? What do you mean? Point guard.
He thought he was Tristan Lillard for a second.
Tristan Young
Tristan Young.
would have made it 10 times better if he did the Nick Young like turned around with the
Oh
arm.
man, you know what? I can't believe I didn't even put that on my list of moments because that is a classic moment there. Uh,
Oh, man, he thought he was Curry when Curry like turns around and looks at the bench.
exactly. Nope. Nope. Oh man, but I don't know why Tristan Thompson did that. I feel like that should have been a fine on the Cavs because that's an obvious attempt at tanking right there. You're letting Tristan Thompson pull that off in the game.
I don't know what went through his head, making him think, you know what? I'm this big old 6'11" center. I'm just gonna go ahead and dribble the ball up the court, do some dribble moves, and then just shoot it from half court.
Yeah, you know what? JaVale McGee must have rubbed off on him or something. That's the only excuse.
Isn't it wasn't the time that JaVale McGee tried to go like coast to coast and then like threw the ball into the crowd?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. JaVale McGee could have a whole list of moments to himself.
So, Otto
But you
Porter
know,
too.
but I'm gonna get off JaVale McGee's head. Shaq has done enough to that man.
Shacked in a fool. Uh, all
But
right.
yeah, it's yours.
So my second one is when Harden got really mad. I think who was it? It wasn't Larry Nance. I think it was not Kuzma either. I don't remember exactly who it was, but Harden spiked the ball into the court and
Oh,
it bounced up and hit him.
I remember. I remember what you're talking. He hit himself in the
Yeah,
face. And Josh Hart walked by.
yeah, Josh
He
Hart.
was like, "What is he doing?"
That would it's like whenever you're having a bad day and you're walking out of the restroom and your pant loop gets hooked onto the like the what do you call
Oh
it,
yeah, like on the
the
little
drawer.
stall thing, or he gets stuck on a drawer or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh my god, that's like the when you're already mad and then you spike the ball into your own face. That would like set me off.
Yeah, I've definitely had a few moments like that of my own where I got mad at something and I threw it and it like bounced back and hit me, or like I threw a ball like because I was mad. I tried to throw it off a wall so it would come back to me, but then it bounced wrong. So then I had to do this awkward walk of shame to
Yeah.
go get it from further than where it was. And it sucks, man. It really sucks.
Yeah,
But
that's
at least I wasn't on national television.
true. That's very true. I feel like it has a lot of similarities to it's like a mix of Tristan Thompson and then Harden's as if you bring up Sam Decker's play.
Oh,
But all right, go ahead and give your
let's
third.
see. Speaking of Sam Decker's play, that was gonna be my third one.
Okay.
Because that's a Rockets classic there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the fast break. I'm on the fast break. And just like Curry, he slips and falls. But no, he doesn't just fall. He falls on his knees and the ball bounces back into his face. It goes out of bounds.
It has to be so embarrassing.
It's so bad. Cause at least with the Harden one, he was mad. He threw the ball down with some force. It kind of makes sense that he was just mad and he did it instinctively. He didn't realize it was going to come back so hard.
Right.
But Decker was just doing a normal basketball thing. And then the court conditions just completely flipped it on its head and ruined his open 2 points.
He was, he probably thought he had like the easiest dunk of his life. And then
And
nope.
then if that wasn't bad enough, because the ball bounced out, he also ends up getting a turnover because of that. Oh man. That is so embarrassing. Turning an open 2 points into a turnover
Off your face.
off your own face. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
Uh, Speaking of getting hit in the face, is another Harden play.
Oh, I already know where this is going.
Giannis posting up, tries to swing it to the corner from the other side of the court. Go right into Harden's face.
And then it comes right back to him. He just posts up like nothing happened. And I love how people try to like use that in the Harden Giannis beef sometimes. It's so funny because it's obviously an accident, but just what are the chances that you accidentally launch a ball directly into the face of somebody you have beef with or would go on to have beef with?
Bro, I think was a missile too.
Oh yeah, no, because he was really trying to bullet it to the corner, and he was just slightly off target.
Knocked the beard off of that man.
Oh, knocked his beard off, knocked his mohawk off. That man was sweeping hair off the floor and gluing it back on in the middle of the game.
All right, go ahead and give your next one.
Okay, my next one. This was from when Carmelo was still on the Knicks,
Hmm.
and it was an open play, like just at the rim. It was just him at the rim, and he airballs a shot from like 2 feet from the basket. Like he shot it kind of like a jumper slash floater, and
Uh-huh.
it just went nowhere, just straight back down.
I don't remember that play, but I could picture it and just man, I don't know. I feel like Lamelo just
No, 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 not Lamella,
no.
Carmelo.
Oh my bad, Carmelo. Um, I don't know. I every time I think of Carmelo now, I just think of that time that he pump faked during the I think it was All Star game,
Mhm.
or like he pump faked in the corner and just throws the ball back. Like he was just in attendance.
Oh no, no, it wasn't the All Star game. They were at D Wade's last game.
Oh,
That's what
okay,
it
okay,
was. Yeah,
yeah,
and it came to him in the crowd,
yeah,
and then the crowd was like, "Shoot it, shoot it!" He pumps fakes and
yeah.
throws it away.
Um, all right. So for my fourth one, I think this is my last one. I can't think of anything else. Well, not at the moment, but this man's still on the Rockets, and his every time he commits a foul, this man Eric Gordon, his face is just gold. The face of like
Oh,
disgust and confusion from Eric Gordon is just amazing.
it's funny that you say that because while Eric Gordon like specifically has a pretty bad reaction face,
Hmm.
there are a lot of people who like just naturally have a terrible reaction face every time they get a foul, even when they know that it was a foul,
Yeah.
and they still just make some kind of crazy, exaggerated, upset face. Like, how
Mhm.
dare you call that, even though I just smacked this man to the ground? That's just a normal play. Dust it off. And then
Even
it's
though I
funny
just
because they'll make the same face when they get fouled and it doesn't get called, or somebody
exactly.
slightly bumps them and it doesn't get.
I don't know, man. Eric Gordon's face just when he gets doesn't get the foul call or gets a foul called on him is just so like distinguishable. I mean, obviously it's his face, but
Yeah, I know it's the expression that's
yeah,
distinguishable. It's like nobody else does it like this.
he looks so disgusted and confused.
Oh man, it kind of reminds me of the Robin Lopez quote from the Wizards, where he was like, "This league is full of thespians and performers or something." And I feel like that's like Eric Gordon's line of thinking every time that face comes on. Like, how dare you? It's a conspiracy in this league.
So, wait. Speaking of the Lopez brothers, well, at least one of them, it was this past year when KJ Martin dunked on him, and then he
Oh,
pretended like he was like KJ Martin yelled at him, and I don't remember if it was Brooke or I think it was Robin, who acted like he was like really scared. I don't know if you remember that.
oh, I think it was Robin.
Yeah, I think so, because I can remember the afro. I don't I don't remember it. I don't think it was Brooke, but I
You
believe
see,
you have more.
and Robin is the one that's more comical out there on the court too. So
Yeah,
it would probably be him anyway.
yeah, like how he said he has to research if Brooke actually won a championship or not.
Yeah. Oh man, but I'm gonna move on to my last point, which is
All right.
another Rockets classic. And it's something that I did bring up last week in passing, and it
Mhm.
was CP3 jumping on Dwight Howard's back, trying to get a rebound off a free throw. Because it's just something about watching this air quote tiny grown man try and jump onto this other giant grown man's back. It just looked like a little kid, either A, begging for a piggyback ride, or B, just fighting for his life, trying to stick in with the older kids. It's just so funny because this is two grown men, and the smaller one is the older one at that.
It's funny. Dwight's reaction was like, "Bro, yo, get this little boy off me."
It's like, hey, why are you trying to climb up on me? You are not my son.
Um, all right. That you said that was your last one, right?
Yeah, that was my last one.
All right. On a more serious note, let's go ahead and talk about the players we're more excited to see come back from injuries. So, you want to go ahead and give your first one?
Okay, so my first player that I'm excited to see come back from injury is a Rockets player, obviously, and that's Christian Wood. Now, when I say this, I mean I'm happy to see him at 100% again. Because
Mm,
even when he did come back last season, he wasn't really back to his normal self. Also, Christian Wood did say in his media day press conference that he's been putting in some work this offseason to fix his shooting stroke because he fully admitted that while his percentage was good, he did have stretches of inconsistency where he was just really good and then really bad, and just stretches of really bad shooting. So he's worked this offseason to fix that. And then he just said he wanted to all around develop, be a better playmaker, which is something else that he had a problem with. And that's something he's had a problem with even before he got here to Houston. So I'm really excited to see if he can take that next leap and become an actual all-star this season if he can stay healthy.
mm.
Yeah, so excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. I mean, going into All Star break, he was well before he got hurt, he was doing better than Anthony Davis. I don't think that's arguable unless you're a Lakers fan, but and you're probably really stubborn. But um, no, I think if he could put up those same numbers as he did last year, 20 and 10. Obviously, if he can bring his assist up, like he said, I don't think he had a problem playmaking for himself. Obviously, we know that he could do some pretty special things off the dribble. Nothing, amazing, but for a big man, I think that he was pretty talented for creating for himself.
Hmm.
Like he said though, creating for his teammates is something completely different. Having the vision, having the awareness to get those to get the ball to your teammates. Almost stuttered my life away right there, but um, yeah, just to get the ball to your teammates is a little different than creating for yourself, obviously.
Hmm. And yeah, I'm really interested to see if he can follow through on that promise that he delivered.
Mhm.
Just will he be a better playmaker? Because if so, that's also going to be a huge step in developing one team chemistry with all the new guys who came in this year,
Mhm.
and then also with developing them as players. Because again, this is a very young team.
Right.
So if he can draw in some of that defensive attention and then get the good kickouts for open threes, that's going to really help our young guys develop that shooting confidence since they'll get plenty of open looks at that point.
Right. I mean, obviously, we're not asking him to be Jokic as a
Yeah.
playmaker, but any kind of progression is good for him. Obviously, to be an all-star, you want to have good stats, and obviously he's going to get his rebounds. Obviously, he's going to get his points too. Assist, I guess, would be the third best stat to have to get the
Hmm.
all-star nod, and obviously you got to have good percentages too.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we should expect good percentages anyway, because he still had some pretty good percentages last year. In all honesty, I think that he would have been an all star this past season if he just didn't get injured.
Oh, definitely, I think so too. I feel like he he should have been. No, they're definitely not starting. Never mind, never mind.
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah,
not gonna
no.
say
Yeah,
that.
no.
Never mind. Let me not say that. But he definitely would have been, I believe, up there with some of the
Hmm.
players. I don't think he would have been like that last guy that gets the nod into All Star game.
Yeah,
Like
because
a
I
reserve.
mean, even with him injured, he was eighth, I believe,
Hmm.
in front court voting.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think if he stayed healthy, he would have been higher up in that voting. And then with AD obviously not being able to play and lost our game at all, yeah, he would have had a pretty solid spot in there.
yeah, I think so too. All right, go ahead and moving on to my, I guess, one of my
Mhm.
players, James Harden.
Okay.
I'm pretty excited to watch him come back. I'm not gonna say, like he says, scary hours. I think he's too old of a grown man to be saying that. Like, but still, I think that team obviously is one of the most dangerous teams out there, other than the Lakers, Bucks, Clippers when they're healthy too. They're
Hmm.
pretty dangerous. But that trio there of Harden, KD, and Kyrie, if Kyrie,
Yeah, if
with
he
his
can
with
actually play.
yeah, COVID stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll be very excited to see him back healthy. Obviously, I think he didn't have that same like number one option role when he went to New York. I mean, not New York, Brooklyn,
Hmm.
as he did in Houston.
Hmm.
But I still think that he was still the same caliber of player that he was when he was in
Yeah.
Houston, just different role.
Yeah, it's kind of like the KD on the Warrior situation,
Hmm.
where obviously as we saw in this past season, Steph was still Steph when
Right,
KD was there, but he
right.
just kind of took a more backseat role to let KD be KD.
Hmm.
And so that's sort of what Harden was doing, especially considering that he was coming in behind KD and Kyrie already being teammates.
Hmm.
So he even more so needed to just come in and just pick a role. And playmaking was the obvious choice because he is by far the best playmaker of the three of them.
Yeah, and obviously KD is gonna get his points no matter what,
Yeah,
whether he's
Kyrie
playing
is going to
or
get his points no matter what.
not. If he could play,
Yeah.
but well, we hope that he does get to play. Obviously we want to see that trio.
Just want to see basketball at its best.
Hmm. All right, go ahead and give your number two.
So with that, I'm moving on to Clay Thompson, who has not played in 2 years now.
That's also my number two, so I'll just go ahead
Okay,
and
that's perfect.
back off of you.
So you see, Clay went down in such an unfortunate way the first time, going down in a finals that they could have potentially won had he stayed healthy. So just that already was enough excitement for me to be excited for him to come back this past season. But then for him to not be able to return because he got injured just trying to warm himself back up to 5v5 basketball, that one really hurts. So just as a basketball fan, it's really unfortunate to see the Warriors have to waste these prime years of Steph just digging out some kind of place in the Western Conference because it was just him.
Mm.
So I'm really glad that Clay's coming back. One, because I want to see Clay come back, and two, because I want to see what the Warriors can be with him back.
Yeah, obviously his Splash Bros aren't the Splash Bros without one of the Splash Bros missing. So um, I believe that Clay's gonna. I believe that Clay's gonna come in and not really live up, not live up, but like play up to the way he played 2 years ago. Obviously, he's hurt, but at the same time, it's Clay Thompson. Doesn't do much running around. He's more of a obviously a spot up shooter,
Mm-hmm.
and he just plays good defense. Not sure if his injuries are really gonna allow him to move around uh, horizontally, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
uh, to guard some of those guys. But I guess we'll see.
You see, but the thing is, I just so happened to stumble across his media day press conference today,
Hmm.
and he did say something about his lateral movement still being pretty good.
That's the word I was looking for. Lateral.
Yeah, yeah. So I think he should at least still be decent there. But one thing about the way Clay plays defense, I'm not going to necessarily say it's unique because I don't know who else does this,
Hmm.
but it is something that's not common. When he plays defense, he only goes laterally for one or two steps.
Hmm.
And then as he's like following somebody who's driving, he starts to turn and just run with them.
Hmm.
So really his lateral movement shouldn't be that big of a deal anyway. And obviously he's not doing any crossovers or anything crazy like that.
Hmm.
So I think in terms of lateral movement, there's not too much to worry about with him there anyway, because the way that he plays defense isn't very reliant on it anyway.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that assuming that what he said was right, I don't see him being too far off from what he was before defensively.
Right.
And then even if what he said isn't right and it was just him being hopeful, I still don't think he'll be terribly bad defensively.
Right. Just hope that his vertical, his acceleration, his speed, everything's all there,
Mm-hmm.
back to normal. Obviously, you never want to see a player stay out for as long as he did. Same thing like with John Wall,
Uh-huh.
is out for what, 2 years
Yeah, just about. I
also.
think he was out for about a year and then he came back somewhere in that span and got injured again and then was out for a second year.
Hmm. All right. Well, since I'll go ahead and give my third one since that was my second one.
Mm-hmm.
So my third is going to be Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, Kawhi was actually going to be my fourth if my second one got taken.
Mhm.
So.
So the thing about Kawhi though is that I'm not sure if he will even be able to play this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's supposed to be out until the end of the season, if I'm not wrong.
I don't think it's to the end of. I think he's like, if he comes back, it's supposed to be
Later.
more mid-season, like January, February type
Okay.
range.
Okay. Well, hopefully he can come back healthy,
Mm-hmm.
so he can help Paul George out because I think Paul George finally found that confidence again in himself. He's no longer playoff P.
Way off P.
Yeah. Side of the backboard P.
Pandemic P.
Pandemic.
Oh man, but part of the reason why Kawhi was one of my picks
Mm,
is because also I'm curious to see, as you mentioned, PG got that confidence back that he had before.
mm-hmm,
So I want to see if one that carries over through this beginning part of the season,
mm-hmm,
and if that confidence stays when Kawhi comes back.
mm-hmm.
Because if that confidence has carried over, and then you start to see it kind of dip when Kawhi comes back, then that is just the obvious indicator that the Kawhi PG duo just can't work.
Right,
And that's what the problem has been. And so that's why I'm excited to see Kawhi come back outside of the obvious fact that, he's one of the best guys in the league and you want to see the best guys playing.
right,
But I want to see if it's maybe that just they had bad luck, PG's confidence was down and that was just the issue, or if PG's confidence being down is a symptom of him not being able to gel with Kawhi at all.
mm. One of the
So,
main things I want to see is the LA rivalry actually live up to its hype. I don't
mhm.
think we've really had a game yet that's been Lakers versus Clippers that's lived up to the hype.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple regular season games that did,
Hmm.
but obviously they haven't met in the playoffs at all yet. So,
Right. I just think that with PG actually having his confidence back now, and
mhm.
then Kawhi hopefully being healthy, and then with the Lakers bringing in these old guys that are hopefully still contribute somewhat, that we'll get a good matchup and actually live up to the hype.
Yeah, but that's really just dependent on the playoffs just going the way it should for both teams, because we could have seen it in the bubble. Then the Clippers fumbled in the second round. Then we could have seen it this past season, and then the Lakers fumbled in the first round.
Right.
So it sort of, you gotta hope that both teams can just get things to go the way they should so that this meetup can even happen in the first place.
Yeah, I think it'll even be better now that, well, if Reggie Jackson can continue to play at his playoff level that he did last playoffs.
Yeah, and then if Eric Bledsoe can not be normal Eric Bledsoe.
Okay. All right. Who's your last?
Yeah, and my last one, funny enough, talking about the bubble, it's Jamal Murray,
Mm,
one of the few people who went into the bubble and just played like a superstar.
him
So
him and T.J. Warren together, like,
him, T.J. Warren, and Donovan Mitchell, all of them just, they took the bubble and they ran with it.
uh-huh. Uh, okay, go. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. But yeah, I'm interested to see him come back. One, he's coming off an ACL tear, I believe.
Hmm.
So seeing him come back from that, well, one, you got to kind of factor in how well will he come back from it, because you never know with ACL. Some people come back perfectly. Some people come back a lesser version of themselves. So
Right.
I want to see how well does he come back from this ACL tear. And assuming that he does come back at his usual level,
Hmm.
can his impact take the Nuggets into a real playoff run this year? Can they get that conference finals appearance again, like the bubble? Could they even get a finals appearance now? So I'm just interested to see how his impact, along with the fact that MPJ has developed, what that'll do for the Nuggets' success.
I definitely think they can make a finals run. Like you said, MPJ's development over this past year, he's grown.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing back Jamal Murray is his number two option. It's going to be very helpful for Jokic because obviously Jokic can only do so much.
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, he is the MVP, so you expect him to transfer what he did last year and do it again this year, or
Hmm.
do it better. So I think I don't know how much better he could really do,
That's what I was thinking. I was
but
like, do it better. You're basically just asking him to average a triple double at that point.
I mean, yeah, like I said, though, I don't know how much better he could do, but adding Jamal Murray will help him. I believe it will help him.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. As long as Jamal Murray comes back as his usual self, then he will undoubtedly help Jokic somewhat. Because the thing about MPJ that really didn't make him as impactful as he could have been as a second option is that he's not very good as an on ball person because his handles and playmaking aren't really there.
Hmm.
So he's best as an off ball spot up or cutting type of person.
Right.
Whereas
Who?
Murray is somebody who's good with the ball. So him being there will be a real threat with the ball outside of Jokic.
Right. Who was their backup starting center? It was Austin Rivers, wasn't it?
Wait, you said backup starting center. Wait.
I mean, starting point guard. I'm sorry. It was
Yeah, it was Austin Rivers.
Austin Rivers, and then Campazzo coming off the bench.
Yeah, or yeah, it was either that or it was Compazzo that in the playoffs. Compazzo started and Austin Rivers came off the bench.
Oh, okay. I got it reversed, but definitely Jamal Murray, big upgrade from
Oh,
both of those guys.
yeah, yeah, not even a debate there.
All right. Well, that's gonna go ahead and be the end of the podcast. If you liked the podcast, go ahead and like and subscribe. I've noticed that we've got a lot of views on this last episode, but doesn't really show with the subscribers. So if you don't mind subscribing, like I said, if you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe. It really helps us out. Isaiah, any last comments?
Well, like you were saying, the views aren't really matching the subscribers. So again, please subscribe. But outside of that, the views are also not matching the comments. We want you guys to really interact with us. So please leave comments. Again, Instagram, as I mentioned last week and the week before, since it's been established, All Ball Podcast YT. Come interact on there. Just do stuff to get involved. As you saw last week, we talked about a topic that was recommended by a fan. So please just do what you can to interact, draw some more attention. And as I always say, share this with your friends as well.
Yep. All right. We'll catch you on the next episode. Later.